What is going on, everybody? I'm your man, Rob Westerman of GBP Daily, and thank you for checking us out on the 5th edition of Pat Casual. Along with me this week and every week of Pat Casual is the one and only Johnathan Beckman. John, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Starting to make some chicken. About to grill some chicken when we're done here. Got home. It's a nice night out, so good night to go grill outside.
Good stuff. Did you guys get the win last Friday? I know. For those of you who don't know, my man John, offensive coordinator for varsity program, calls the plays, calls the shots, does it all. Did you guys come out with a win, or how do we do?
We did not. We had about 350 yards of offense, but had 3 turnovers in the red zone that really killed us. Just kind of been the story of our year. Just way too many fumbles, baby.
All right, well, to kick things off, we're going to start with our sponsor, Man Cave Collections. From the greats of the past, the shining stars currently dominating their sport, Man Cave Collections has what you need as far as authentically signed, unsigned, and game-used memorabilia to fulfill your fandom. MC Collections, check them out, mancavecollections.com. To kick things off, Johnny, let's lay this week 1 embarrassment to rest with a final air your grievances type segment. What are the 2 things that stood out to you this past Sunday that kind of contributed to us getting?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You need me to repeat, or you good?
I would say, one thing that's been going around in the Packer Twitter world, that's been very true is that it didn't really seem like Green Bay ever had a chance to run the offense that they wanted to run.
Yep.
There's a lot of articles out there like, have they figured out how to beat Aaron Rodgers? Have they figured out how to beat Matt LaFleur's offense? And one good comment I saw and that I totally agree with was that was not Matt LaFleur's offense. There was no there really wasn't the balance that I know that they always try to have. That we see a lot more of, but it also seems to be a repetitious thing that once a year in the last 3 years since LaFleur has been the coach, we come out and we put a stinker out there once a year. And it seems like every single time one of those losses has happened, he's came back and he said the same thing, that he didn't commit to the run. So I'd say really it came down to not getting the rhythm really. And going with that, obviously Rodgers was anything but on his A game. That's as bad as you'll see him play. Right. But if history says anything, once, twice a year, and then the rest of the year should be hopefully 13, 14 games of lights out football. So let's hope that they correct it.
Yep, I'm with you. Lack of plays of offense in the first half. They were down 7-0, 10-0, 17-0 before we had any sort of drive. I think it was 17-0, and we ran 12 offensive plays.
Yeah. So, sorry to cut you off, but
you're good.
As a Midwesterner myself, I didn't get to see the first 11 minutes of the game because the Vikings were going on. So I was sitting there about 4:00 being like, I've seen Aaron Rodgers and the offense on the field for like 3 plays.
Right? Yeah, we waited 7.5 months to have a delay. At least that Vikings game ended up in a loss, so that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
I was very frustrated.
No, I get it. We were down 17-0, and then we come down. Crosby hits the field goal before the half, 17-3. I've always been a defer guy when it comes to the coin toss, and always have loved that. I've loved doubling up, or at least the thought of doubling up, going in the half, and then having the ball to start the third quarter. But with this team, for my man Mitchell, with this team, this offense, and the defense, I'm now officially, for the time being, switching to let's get the ball first, start the game, and potentially go up 7-0 or at least 3-0, because as we've all seen and noticed and obviously saw on Sunday, the team is completely different when playing from behind. So, but that's my first point. start fast, get the ball, or that's what I saw. Sorry, that was my first thing. We didn't get the ball
Yep.
at all the first half, and when we did, it was just atrocious. Second, our defense didn't do any, or our offense didn't do any favors for the defense. Not in the first half with short drives that all ended in points or all ended up punts. A turnover, and especially in the second half, leaving them with short fields, on multiple occasions, whether it was the failed fourth down attempt or obviously Rodgers' second pick of the game. He had 5 all last year, already almost half there after just week 1. But the defense I watched on Sunday was lethargic, spiritless, and obviously most importantly, not aggressive whatsoever. I hope it changes, but based on week 1, I don't know about you, but there isn't one guy that I'm scared of or that the opposing offenses should be scared of. That the fear of being hit, hit hard, big plays, and so on. I mean, they're scared of Jair because they're not throwing to him, and that's really about it.
Yeah.
All we need is an average defense. We don't need a top 5 defense to win the Super Bowl. We just need average. So energy level, everything else just needs to improve, or else we're in for a long season. So.
Yeah, I mean, I totally. It just seems weird though that we've bounced from a couple D coordinators in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Going back to Dom Capers and it just seems like there's been a constant or that of getting that energy, getting out there, and I think the best way for us to combat that, especially in Aaron Rodgers' career, is that we've been much better when we get that early lead, especially at home. When we get that big lead and we get that ball first. So I agree. I like going out on defense first in general. Like if I'm playing, I'm coaching. Even though I'm an offensive coach, I'm fine if we get the ball first.
And I usually am too, like I said.
But with Green Bay, I think you're right. I really think that they have to go out there. They got to score because it's like how many times do we see our defense just get gashed and gashed and gashed. And the offense didn't do the defense any favors on Sunday. But at the end of the day, man, you got to get off the field on 4th down.
Yep.
Because the offense wasn't doing the defense any favor, but the defense wasn't doing the offense any favors.
Not at all. Not
Basically
at all.
Put Green Bay's offense into panic mode.
Yep.
And then it just didn't seem like they wanted to run the offense that we usually see from LaFleur that results in a lot more running, some motions, a lot more game plans, schemed open guys. This offense is not built to come from behind and just air it out and air it out and air it out. Green Bay has not been at their best, and Rodgers has not been at their best when he has to throw the ball 40 times a game. He's at his best when he can throw the ball 30 times a game, and we get the ball in the running back's hands and whatnot. Really, it comes down to and we got to start a lot quicker.
Start fast. So before we hop into Lions, Packers, Monday night, prime time in Lambeau, I asked people to give me a call and leave a voicemail, and we got a bunch. My plan was to play them all, but for the sake of time, we kind of have a lot to talk about. I chose one, Raymond Gonzalez. I appreciate you calling in. Here's what he had to say.
My name is Raymond Gonzalez, and I've been a Packers fan for about 10 years now, and I've never been this embarrassed, to say I'm a fan of this team. Rodgers said, it looked like he didn't even want to be there, man. I'm just embarrassed of this team. I don't even want to watch next week's game. Real talk. Man, that's all I gotta say, man. And one more thing, I gotta get one more thing off my chest. Patrick need to cut Kevin King right now, immediately, right now. He is the worst corner that I've ever seen in my whole entire life, my whole 39 years of existence. Well, anyways, that's it. Hopefully next week, we win.
So what I got from that was Rodgers didn't look like he wanted to be there. Then he goes on to say Kevin King is the worst corner he's seen in his entire life. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But overall, I agree with him. Packers didn't show up. Kevin King played bad, and yeah, that's that. He said he was 39 years old and he didn't want to watch next week. I can't blame him if it's going to be anything like last Sunday. So, your 2 cents?
Sorry, but NFL owner GBP is making some good comments out here. Bro wouldn't have made it through 4th and 26.
Yeah, but he was alive during that. So,
there's a lot of heartbreakers. What do I think about that? Overreaction Monday.
Yeah, I get it. Frustrated. We waited 7.5 months, and that's what we saw.
The Kevin King stuff is warranted, but the rest of it's overreaction Monday.
All right. What do we got next?
So, Lions are coming to town for some Monday Night Football.
Yes, sir.
Is someone that I know in here going to be at that game?
Yes, sir. I will be there. Row 3 in the end zone, next to the
Row
tunnel.
3 in the end zone. Well, Green Bay's won 8 straight home openers. Hopefully we make it 9. Hopefully you're not some bad juju.
I know. Last 3 games I've been to, they've been 3-0, so I hope not.
Yeah. Regular season games, they seem to always win at home.
Yep.
I mean, against the Lions since 1992, 27-3.
Yes, sir.
Aaron Rodgers, 9-2 at home versus them. 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So, just some stats to think about from what's happened in the last 15 years.
Yep.
But you've seen week 1.
What?
You've seen the last 2 years with LaFleur. You know what's happened with Aaron Rodgers in the offseason. All of it together, what are your 3 keys to winning Monday Night Football? And you, as a fan, are not included in the outcome. You will not make a difference on this, Rob. What has to be done on the field?
I swear you freaking read my mind. So, my 3 keys to winning on Monday night. They're fairly obvious, but if they're done, I don't see how we don't come out of week 2 with a win. It has to happen. We start fast. Number 1, we start fast. And if possible, if we win the toss, we call tails and never fails like we usually do. Opt to receive the ball so we can, hopefully get out to a lead. As we said earlier, playing from behind and off script isn't exactly our strong suit. And running the ball, I think, 15 times like we did last weekend is not the recipe for success. So that's my first one. Number 2, you just wait for number 3. Number 2, we need a big play. We had a big play last weekend that was negated by some bullshit penalty. And, I mean, that was just ridiculous. That was some Clay Matthews shit, and it was just outrageous. So whether it's a turnover, block punt, block field goal, drop a punt or 2 inside the 5, I mean, anything that can create some momentum for this team to play on, we need to happen. We need that to happen. A tidbit that was kind of made aware to me from Aaron Nagler last week. Under Matt LaFleur, Green Bay is 23-1 in the regular season when forcing at least 1 turnover. So if we can get at least 1 turnover, we're going to win, Johnny. We're going to win. Okay, number 3. My third thing is not for the players. It's for the fans that are attending the game. And we didn't talk about this before the show. I didn't show you anything. So
I just knew.
You felt it coming. And I'm going to be there, so that kind of put a little bit into it. Do not do the wave or the go pack go chant while we are on offense. Do not. Players, coaches have pleaded that this not happen, and I'm in no way telling you how to fan. You do you, and I'll do me. But for the sake of this team, we all saw what happened last weekend. If there's any way that we can give them any sort of help or even like a competitive advantage, I'll be doing just that. So those are my 3 things. We got to start fast, receive the ball, hopefully, to open the game. Second thing is to create a big play, whether it's a turnover, block punt, block field goal, drop a punt inside the 5 once or twice. I mean, gosh forbid we have a decent punting game or some sort of advantage in the special teams. And then obviously third but not least, is to not do the go pack go chant or the wave while we're on offense, as everyone has said not to do. So NFL or LMFAO, yeah, that's going to happen, sadly. It's going to, and there's nothing we can do about it. So next, we got Kevin King. Johnny, why is Kevin King still playing? Why is Kevin King still playing?
Is Eric Stokes apparently not good enough?
Well, they kept him out of the preseason, so I assume he'd be playing a little bit. And
that's a big question. If he's not playing in the preseason and you don't play him much week 1,
what's the deal?
What's the deal? There's no answer for that, right? You normally play the preseason guys. In the preseason, they are not going to start as much week 1. So we try to get him off the team. Listen, I understood what they were trying to do with it. You know, they got him back at a minimal contract.
This is what he doesn't see when it's in here.
Yeah, they wanted to somebody. He has such tremendous upside with his athletic ability.
Yeah, he's long.
He just always seems to be out of place. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I could do it better myself. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I just like the human being. But man, that guy is failing us in the big time. He just the first play that I got to see after 11 minutes. First play I got to see this week was him getting burnt. I don't know if it's just one of those things, you know. Obviously, the guys that are behind him, you know, they're not going to give us much else, except for maybe Stokes. But you know, I would have a feeling that was probably some sort of discussion that I bet was taken into consideration, because I think they probably planned on Stokes probably playing more, and then as the game went on, they just didn't play him. And then they just felt like they set themselves up for failure. I think that's a little bit of a coaching thing, if I were to be honest with you. I think they had a plan. It didn't follow through. And with how they planned it, at least that's what I would assume. You know, coaches aren't perfect either, and coaches are there to blame as well. So really, I just can't – If we get into weeks 4, 5, 6, and he's still starting, it kind of concerns me for where Stokes is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I said it last week, the week before, but I was hoping Kevin King, you know, kind of had what it took to rebound from the end of last season. Obviously, we know what happened in the NFC Championship game. He just hasn't. As far as week 1, he hasn't. Gave up 2 huge plays to Deontay Harris. Plays where he wasn't anywhere near the guy. He, you know, was getting turned around and just looked lost. Put in Eric Stokes, let him go through his rookie woes now, rather than putting him in later in the season and then watching him struggle. And, you know, put him in now, and then come late season playoff time, he'll be more than ready to make an impact, a lot more than Kevin King has or frankly ever will. It's a sad deal. Like you said, I'm sure Kevin King is a great guy, but his play on the field has just been, I mean, it's just been atrocious. Let's just leave it at that. So
yeah, it's true. Ja wasn't a start. I don't think Ja was a starter right away.
No, he wasn't.
So yeah, I don't disagree with you. You know, it's just one of those things, especially with the new defense. You know, everybody's kind of learning. Maybe they just we're trying to rely on a veteran that's been in the league. But I mean, it's easy to say start Stokes over King. I want to say that myself, but at the end of the day, I mean, we are just sitting here at home watching on the TV. If maybe Stokes is just literally not ready. So, you know, it's easy to say from at home.
That's true. I know during the preseason he was going up against Devontae a lot, but I also saw things that, you know, saying he wasn't doing as well as a first rounder was supposed to be doing. I know a couple guys were talking about it that I listened to, and you do too, but maybe he isn't ready. And if that's the case, then it might not be worrisome now, but I don't know. I mean, hopefully,
I just feel like if it's not by week 5, week 6, if he's not starting over King, it better be because King's figured his shit out. Yeah.
and like
How many times do we need to see King get burnt? I don't know, man. I'm right with you. He gets burnt
a lot. But
Yeah.
that's that. Next up, we've got, man, this guy just keeps on coming up everywhere I look sometimes whenever he's talking about Aaron Rodgers. Jermichael Finley. So apparently he said today, each offseason you've got to work like it's your last season, and I just don't see a work ethic in Aaron Rodgers that I have in previous years. One, has he even been talking or watching Aaron Rodgers all offseason? No, because nobody has. Two, it's one bad game, and this dude comes crawling out of the freaking woodwork and says something like this. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Rodgers didn't play well at all.
No.
But like, come on. Brady, everybody gets on their knees for Tom Brady when he throws 3 picks in an NFC Championship game and thinks he's a hero. This is just rinse repeat, hamster wheel, dog shit. The same couple guys keep saying something, and I mean, at this point, Jermichael Finley, he's a has-been, and he was just somebody that never got to reach his potential because of the obvious unfortunate injury.
Lack of effort.
I mean, even when he was on the field, but I'm not here to tear him apart personally, but I mean, it's just a bunch of garbage when a guy like that comes out and he tries to rip Aaron Rodgers for his commitment as if he has. Like, come on. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't think people realize that at this point in Rodgers' career, he doesn't have to go through all the pregame, this, that, this. Not giving him an excuse. He's got to, he's got to be there, be in all the meetings to make sure everyone's on the same page. But come on.
I know. The only time
He
that
can fall out of bed and do more than 99% of the quarterbacks in the league.
Oh, yeah. NFL history for that sake. So the only time that this guy's relevant is when he's bashing the very quarterback who helped him shine. I mean, I'm not going to say Rodgers was part of, or mostly all part of his success, because that's just not fair to him. But it's tough. Those guys, you build a relationship, quarterback, receiver, quarterback, tight end, but apparently that was worth nothing when obviously Jermichael comes out and says shit like that. So, all right. Anyways, what do we got next?
You're going to be at the game.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
You're going to be a little bit emotionally attached, but
right, I am. That's
putting your emotions aside.
Okay.
Is Monday a must win for you? I know I got my answer, but is it a must win for you?
Like for me personally, or for the team? I know you said put your feelings aside, so I'm assuming the team.
Context. You're right.
Okay.
Is it, or if you lived in the state of Idaho and never were going to this game, is it important for them to win the game? Is it a must win?
Okay, well, I know it's only week 2, but with the 49ers in week 3, Steelers in week 4, you saw them just take off the Bills. That was no fluke. That game was close, back and forth. Yes, this is a must win because it's a team you should beat. Division rival coming into Lambeau, prime time, a less talented team, I think. Based off of last week, they might be more talented with, the fight they gave the Niners. We gave no fight. So if we're measuring by that, then, I mean, they got more fight than we do, at least based off of week 1. So to answer your question, yes, Monday is a must win. If we go 0-2, but the Giants started out 0-2 and won the Super Bowl that year when they when they beat us. So you can start out 0-2 and do good, but last year no 0-2 team started out, or no teams last year started out 0-2 and then won the Super Bowl, or maybe even made the playoffs. Sorry. So yes, must win Monday. We go out to San Francisco to play the Niners. We all know how that freaking goes when we go out there. I think it's going to be different this year. They're injured. Mostert's out. Their cornerback's out. So I think it's going to be different. But yes, to answer your question, it's a must win. What do you think? Must win?
From your angle of foresight, I would say, yeah, it's easy to say it could be a must win because stuff's tough. But I am a firm believer that week 2 is a long ways away from week 17 and 18.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can happen in between. The whole division went 0-1. So, it's nothing crazy. We don't have a ton catch up. I think we all believe Detroit's going to kind of finish last in our division. I don't think it's a must win because I don't think week 2 is the all be all, end all, whatever that.
So let me cut you off. If we lose this week, is next week a must win? In San Francisco?
If we don't want to go 0-17. I get where you're going with it. It's very important to start off 1-1 because I think it's very important for us to be 2-2 after week 4. I think whatever needs to happen, I think there just needs to be 2-2 after week 4, no matter what. And I think Green Bay can win both those other games. So really, I don't think it's a must win because I think Green Bay can, based off of last year and the year before, I think Green Bay can win the other games. But, who knows? We might just not be the team that we all thought we were. But I'm not going to panic after two losses if that's what happens. But it also will be interesting to see how that, if we do lose, how we get to that second loss. It will be more important than the actual loss itself. Because if we come out like we did week 1, yeah, now we're in big trouble. But if it's something different, just a scrappy game, a couple turnovers here and there, there's just so much into it that they can change that I'm going to wait to make that call till after the game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if you saw the NFL, they did a poll on Twitter for who they thought was going to win or who the fans thought was going to win each division, and the Lions actually won that poll. So
Lil Rose says he's not letting go of his Kevin Keane becoming great. Hey, man.
There's still hope.
There's still hope. But
no, there's not. There's no hope, Lil Rose.
Let's just say it's on its.
We need to snip that episode 1 prediction. I mean, I know the positivity, but
I think he's pretty much running out of his chance.
You know what? I think Lil Ro has like a signed Kevin King jersey or something that's actually kind of keeping him rolling because
maybe you need to get that for him.
Yeah, maybe Lil Ro. Snip it, dog. I don't know. Don't give up after 1 week. Okay, I'm there with you. It's been 1 week. I for all I know, he comes out and just wrecks week 2. He's gonna get thrown at a lot, obviously opposite Jair, so he'll have the chances. So, okay, this is good. Hey, at least we won't have to pay TJ Watt.
Yeah, but it sure as hell would have been nice to have him over Kevin King. Yikes.
Not even getting into that. So, before we close it down tonight, let's take a look at some last-second tidbits for the game on Monday night. Lions coming to Lambeau, prime time. I'm pumped. I'm ready for it. Obviously, Darnell Savage went out last week with a shoulder injury. Coach came on and said he wasn't worried about it, said it wasn't a long-term issue or concern, and said it hoping with an extra day of rest and prep he'll be able to go. I don't know if you thought maybe he didn't have his best game or if we're kind of waiting for him to bud or even if you have an opinion on him.
You know, one thing, and I was reading, some I'm a big fan of Ben Fennell. If
Yeah.
anyone doesn't follow him on Twitter. He does really good breakdowns of the Packers and whatnot. And it's just weird because, especially in Joe Barry's defense last year, there was a comment made about they have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey last year. But really the stars of their defense last year were how important Williams and it was how important their safeties played last year.
Yep.
And Darnell Savage is just as athletically gifted, and he's crazy athletically gifted, but he just seems to not really necessarily have made the jump yet.
Right.
Going from there to there. He hasn't really made a huge trend upward. He's had some good games and he's made some spectacular plays with his athletic abilities, but he just really hasn't been dominant yet. Hopefully we can get there because, really at the end of the day, I think we have good DBs other than the one corner spot. But
I think we have an awesome DB room.
I think we have an awesome DB room as far as, overall talent. And it really that all is overshadowed, by bad play elsewhere sometimes.
Yep.
Lil Ro, I believe in Savage too.
I'm a Savage believer.
More than your other buddy, but I believe in Savage on that. So really he just needs to hopefully, we're all hoping that he comes and brings it together and uses his gifts.
It was him with the pick on the penalty.
I agree, Lil Ro, front seven. I think more important than Kevin King and even all that is, our front seven gotta be better.
And when we did get pressure and put a hit on him, they threw the flag, which everyone knew that wasn't a flag. It's tough. Obviously, the one thing that went right ended up being called back, which it is what it is. Before I get into my next little tidbit, are they sleeping on Cobb for offense? This was something I was wondering. I don't know what was going on.
How it would play out.
Are they easing him in? We saw him towards the end of the game, and we didn't even see him at all. I didn't recall him.
So he was in, and he ran a really good route on, if you remember the pass interference that Tanyan going like when we're watching to our right, where it looked like Cobb was actually wide open on. He ran a little bit of an inside whip route, and he actually ran a really good route. If you get a chance to see that clip, and that's what I think we brought him back for, was those third down conversions, running those type of gadget utility routes. We really didn't see a whole bunch of it. I don't know why. He's a veteran, so at this point, maybe he's still learning more of the offense. But it really seems like they're pretty heavy set on going with the Adams, MVS, Lazard as of right now.
Yep. I'm cool with that. Obviously, it worked last year. We were number one offense in the league. But it would just be nice if, we've been seeing Rodgers to Cobb all training camp. And it'd be nice. I know they signed him for Rodgers, and maybe that's why we didn't win. He's not in there. I don't know. Nobody knows.
We didn't get to run the offense that I feel like they probably schemed up. So,
yep, too little, too late for him. So next, Jamal Williams, our beloved Jamal Williams, as many of you know, is now with Detroit. Little thing on him, he's 35 carries away from having the most carries in NFL history without a fumble. John, is that streak going to end or extend on Monday night? You think the Packers can force a fumble out of him or anyone else on that team?
I hope he plays over Swift.
Me too.
The reason why is that obviously I like him, but I don't. I think Swift scares me more so in the open field and whatnot. Jamal's a little bit more kind of downhill type guy. Hopefully if he does play, obviously I want him to fumble, but at the same time, kind of one of those guys you root for, even though he's on a different team.
Yeah, true. Jamal will fumble on the 20th carry in overtime.
28th carry. If he gets 28 carries,
it's 28 carries.
I don't think that'd be freaking crazy. You don't see really anyone get 28 carries in the NFL anymore. It's
No.
30.
Nope. It will. Bane Gary with the strip. Strip, fumble recovery. And I could see that. I don't call him Bane Gary. I call him Scary Gary. John?
He's
Any comments?
Hey man, I'm just glad that he's turned into what we drafted him for. Not, I mean, you know, it's not like he's been dominant, but I think he's here to stay. He's here for right now.
I'm right there with you. Once he gets, I was talking to Zach Jacobson on here last weekend, and we were talking about how he hasn't had more than 44 snaps in a game since he was drafted. And with obviously Z, he was in, but if he was going to be out, that was kind of maybe going to be his coming out game. Obviously, Z played. That didn't happen. But yeah, like you said, I'm excited.
It just seems weird though, like with how like he just seems like he's on the up and up. It just seems weird that he hasn't just taken Preston Smith's spot at this point, like starting over him. Because it's just like if they really think that he's dominant, like what's the deal with that? It just doesn't. It seems weird.
Yep, I get it. Maybe Rashawn's not as good in coverage as Preston.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that comment, and I hate that comment because it was very witty, but I hate it.
Okay. Anyone who tuned in last week knows that our predictions do not mean shit. Our predictions were so bad last week. I had a 30.
I don't even know why we did our picks to see who's going to score the first touchdown.
Nobody scored. I projected 34-21 or 31-24. You projected
31-23.
Yeah. Needless to say, we're idiots. But with that being said,
I think we opened up as 11-point favorites, was it?
Yes, that makes me nervous, but it doesn't matter.
I don't.
As I said earlier, I'll be in the stands. Row 3, end zone, by the tunnel. Look for me when Devontae does a Lambeau leap on his 4th touchdown catch of the night. I promise I'll be closer this week with my predictions. You ready for it? You want to go first or me?
No, I want to hear your terrible prediction.
Perfect. 28-20 Packers. Rodgers, 3 touchdowns. Jones with like a long touchdown run like he had last season come out of that second half. And Packers move to 1-on-1. We get back on track. I'm thinking it's going to be hopefully a farther away, like a 28-17. They're driving. We force a 4th down. They kick a field goal to get within one score. They try an onside, and then we recover it, hopefully. And Jordan Love comes in and kneels it out for the win. That's my prediction, 28-20. I think we bounce back. We don't blow the friggin' top off. 28 points is that's a fair – I said this last week. We both made fair predictions. I don't even know what that means, but yes, 28-20, fair prediction. We get back to 1-on-1, and it's on to the 49ers.
28-20. 27-24, Mason Crosby game-winning field goal. We struggle, but we get it.
But we slip it out.
Game-winning field goal.
That's what you're thinking? 27-24?
I don't see us completely just flipping the script and coming out and winning by 2-3 touchdowns. It was a pretty ugly game last week. I still think Green Bay is a lot better than the product that they put on the field. I do. But there's something to say for coming out that flat. And part of that, you usually don't fix within 7 days.
7 days, yeah. No, I get it. And part of that, whose fault is that the most? Players, coaches, that they're just not prepared. They're not excited. And I was listening today on Locked On Packers, Peter Bukowski. He was saying, you know what, this team, they heard all off season, they're going to be good. The Super Bowl is what's on their mind. It's Super Bowl or disappointment, as Rodgers said during the preseason. They're probably focused on, this game week 1. It obviously matters, but they just, players, coaches, who's that fall on? Both?
Are we ever going to be able to stop the run? Because I think
We
because
have the same team as last year, besides 2 players on defense, and no, we're not going to be able to. Maybe if we call BJ Raji.
I mean, it's both, but there you get those constants that no matter what, Jair is going to come out, give it everything he's got.
Oh yeah,
Devontae is a dog. He's going to come out and get everything he's got. Mercedes, you're going to get everything you can get out of him. The whole obviously like having what we say, what our head coaches always like to say is having juice. There's just some guys that no matter what just aren't ever really going to have it. So I think no matter what, it just comes down to football is just a crazy game of anything can happen. And as a result, you have to be ready for what's going to happen if things go south. And that's half on the players and half on the coaches sticking to a game plan that they think is going to work. So I'm going to go half and half because I don't think either are exempt of, from the results or the outcome of good or bad situations.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the end of the day, the players play. So I always think, it's always typically more on the players as far as like actually the production on the field, but as far as coming out flat or whatnot, I mean,
yeah, I get it. I'm with you. I think it goes on both.
Play changes it. One play can change everything.
Oh yeah, and that interception could have been that one play, but at that point we were down quite a bit.
Stopping them on 4th down when they threw that touchdown, that in 4th and goal touchdown or whatever it was. I mean, one play can change everything, but one play wasn't going to change that game. Got our asses kicked.
I think, although it falls on the coaches, but you can only do so much.
Yeah,
the players, they're professionals. They know what needs to be done to get ready for a game. That they do it, but it just didn't happen. So before we close it out, let's talk about how Elgin Jenkins did a tackle. Let's talk about how he did tackling. He had 2 tackles. I think
on the team.
Kevin King only had 1 tackle. Elgin Jenkins, our left tackle, had 2.
Hey,
how does that even happen, man?
Elgin Jenkins is going to do a lot of good and a lot of bad for Green Bay. You know why he's going to do a lot of bad? He's going to be like Ryan Blaga going to LA Chargers because he's going to cost so much money, and we wish we could keep him.
We'll keep him for that first contract, but
yeah, no, I hope we can say. And one thing that I was reading is, maybe when Bakhtiari comes back, maybe he goes to right tackle, and then we've got the best tackle tandem in the league at that point. Then you got to figure out the guard position. Yep. I think Patrick I see him.
Yikes.
I just feel like it's kind of a weird for a guy, it's weird to say for a grown man like that, but I just feel like I see Patrick get bullied often. Like
that's like 3 times our size.
It just seems like a few times a year you just see him get bullied. Like those overpowering D linemen, they just take him and they just like throw him to the side.
He's a great backup.
Yeah.
He's wrong.
It's fine, but we need to figure it out. Myers obviously keep him, but I mean we need to figure out the guard position now.
Agreed.
But I do like if Elgin Jenkins can go to right tackle and we can have a freaking sick tackle combination.
Oh yeah, everything else will figure out itself. Hopefully,
I had to take that all day.
Yes, sir.
You've been one of the best picks Green Bay's had of the last.
Oh, him and Jair. Oh yeah, I mean,
Elgin Jenkins is just not known by other people around the league.
He's about to be if he isn't already.
But anybody that knows anything about the offensive line position knows this dude is a fucking stud.
I'm an offensive line wins championships kind of guy. I know I keep saying I'm a kind of guy this, I'm a kind of guy that as far as everything. But offensive line, to me, if you have a good O-line, you can do anything. Obviously, it starts in the trenches. So any last words before I close it down?
Nothing specific, man. It's a long season, so really, just you got to see a lot play out. I just don't. I don't want to jump to conclusions. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've become more patient.
Fair.
So whereas usually I used to jump to conclusions, I feel like I'm more patient now. So I just want to see what happens. But week 2 doesn't even do it for me. It's just like, and maybe I've become patient also because of our results in the last 10 years in the playoffs and how disappointing. Like, we build up to be so good, and then it just fails at the end. Let's just hope this year it starts slow and gets so much better.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want a slow build.
If we can go 10-7 and win the Super Bowl, I'll take that over going 13-4 or 14-3. So
I think anybody would.
So,
I want a slow build up, and then we kind of just get in the playoffs, not under the radar because we have Aaron Rodgers and then we're the Packers, so everybody's gonna be talking about us. But get in there, without the crazy high expectations and do work from there. So that does it for us here at Pack Casual. If you aren't already, follow John and myself on Twitter. Follow GP Daily on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All the links are in the description of this video below. As for John and myself, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys later.
go Pack.